All right. Telling me.
The man is telling me, it's telling him. So we are live today, Whisper Nation. It is Friday, December 18th, and this is the News and Nuggets episode where Johnny Game Time Hicks and me, Austin Sear, are going to go through the entire slate of news and updates and separate the noise from the Nuggets to help you get ready for the upcoming slate of games. Remember, we got a couple on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday as well. And as always, if you haven't already liked and subscribed, please be sure to do so. Helps us continue to grow our channel and do what we love to do so much. We're going to go through the news and nuggets from each team, but feel free to hop in the chat, drop us your lineup questions, really any kind of fantasy football questions that you have at all, and we'll do our best to get to every single one of them. As well as be sure to join the the lineup show an hour and a half before kickoff on Sunday, where you can ask all of your other lineup questions and get them all answered by Johnny Game Time Hicks and Big Travie as well. So once you like and subscribe, you'll just get pinged automatically. It makes it a lot easier. But I'm Austin Sear. You can catch me on Twitter at Austin_R_Sear. But of course, as always, joined by the man himself, Johnny Game Time Hicks. How are you doing, my brother?
What's up, Austin? Feels good to be here. I'm excited to hang out with Whisper Nation on this Friday. We got a lot of news that's like just dropping, and we were talking. That's why we went a little late on this live stream, was because you and I started just chit chatting up, and we were like, oh wait, we need to hit go live button first, and then so now we're live. We're officially live. So welcome into our Friday show. Welcome into Whisper Nation. Hope you guys had a great week.
We've got Adam Young in the chat. What's up, Whisper Nation? What's up, Adam Young? Love to see you here, man. It's good to have you with us here in the chat. Johnny, I want to start with your team right here, the Arizona Cardinals, who I know is on the other side of that cap right there.
Mm-hmm.
Chase Edmonds, he did not practice Thursday. Even if he does play, I expect this is going to impact Drake a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think that you could see a heavier Drake usage. Now, a lot of the Drake usage was already leaning and skewing towards him, getting the bulk of the carries. But what we hadn't seen very much this season was Drake getting a lot of catches out of the backfield. Well, with this, ankle injury, and a lot will tell from what I'm reading. They're saying a lot will tell from tomorrow's practice. And so secretly, if you're a Drake, roster, you're probably hoping Edmonds doesn't go, because then that could spell a mega day for Kenyon Drake, who would then get the vast majority of that receiving workload as well as the rushing. So you like that?
Yeah, man. I'm not even concerned so much about Chase Edmonds being active at all, given Drake's had 20 plus touches in 2 of his last 3 games and led his season with 23 touches just last week. Chase Edmonds been trending downwards, and if he is dealing with a little bit of an ankle, I expect they're going to increase Drake's workload regardless of his active or inactive status. We've got some Whisper Nation questions popping up here, Johnny. And for those of you joining us in the live chat, thank you so much for being a part of today's show. If you could hit us with that thumbs up button to help us grow the channel and spread it through the algorithms, we would be greatly appreciated to you. But let's get to some of these questions right here, Johnny. Adam Young is asking full PPR. Got a flex question. Deontay Johnson, T. Higgins, Rashard Higgins, thank you. Nyheim Hines, and M. That's a big one. Also got Damian Harris or Alan Lazard. So we got a few questions on here. Full point PPR.
Okay.
Which 2 are you liking the most of those we can decipher here? From Deontay Johnson, T. Higgins, Rashard Higgins, Nyheim Hines, Damian Harris, Alan Lazard, and M.
I would actually probably roll with Deontay Johnson and Rashard Higgins here. I really like the matchup on Rashard Higgins. We just got done recording our matchup show, Austin, and I was talking on that matchup show how much I really like this. And then you're looking at a Giants defense that's getting depleted. And so I would probably roll with that. Nyheim Hines, I don't mind that. The only thing is that his touches seem to be limited around 10 to 12 touches per game. So, could he get into the end zone? For sure. He's a threat to get in the end zone every single week, I think, because he's a receiving back. But it's a dice roll to me. I think Rashard Higgins, has the higher ceiling this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree with those two. And Damian Harris would be coming in for me as that third option there, just because I think he's going to have the most guaranteed workload. There
Yeah.
are some concerns about his limited participation in practice, but that's pretty much every single Patriots player at every position all the time with zero clarity as to why or the
Yeah.
level of severity. So he's been looking really, really good. He's really the only stable running back choice you have there in
Hmm.
New England. I don't hate that one.
Yeah.
Ilias, what's going on? Ilias, glad to have you here. He asks us to pick one out of Brandon Ayuk, Robert Woods, Justin Jefferson.
I would be going Robert Woods here. I like all three of these matchups. These are great matchups. Once again, you have really awesome wide receivers. But Robert Woods going against the New York Jets this week, and every wide receiver or wide receiver one that has faced the New York Jets has gone off, and frankly,
Yeah.
every wide receiver too has had a very good day as well. So
Yeah, I love how good the rookie wide receivers are
I
emerging in the
know.
NFL. I think it's a trend from a
Mhm.
lot of different reasons.
It's
Play
exciting
style in
too.
college.
It
Yeah.
is exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's cool that Justin Jefferson is a legitimate elite option at a rookie position,
Hmm.
and Ayuk is just how electric his play style is, man. It's awesome. Uh, Ilias also wants to know between Aaron Jones or Jonathan Taylor. Ooh,
This one's tough.
that's a good question.
I really like Jonathan Taylor's usage and his
Mhm.
matchup. You got Aaron Jones, who is I think he's gonna score in this game. Actually, I I I think I would still go with Aaron Jones, but I would try to really find it's insane that I would really try to find a way to get both Aaron Jones and Jonathan Taylor in there.
Yeah, right,
Um,
unless it's a Hunter Henry or Dalvin Cook. This is
yeah,
a really, really nice matchup. Who else you got in there, Ilias? I'd like to know what other running back you're starting over Aaron Jones or Jonathan
yeah.
Taylor
I
in your
mean, who would you go with between Aaron Jones and Jonathan Taylor? I I almost feel like you can't choose the wrong one. I mean, yeah,
No, you
obviously
really
you
can't
can,
on
but it's
this
like,
one. I think I like the floor of Jonathan Taylor, to be honest, of what he's been pushing out lately, but I would go Aaron Jones. I would go Aaron Jones because of how much he is the best running back in Green Bay. We
yeah,
know that for sure. Jonathan Taylor is still a rookie. He's got inconsistencies. Um, if Aaron Jones gets it going, that whole team wins more. So I like the upside of the Aaron Jones play,
yeah.
and he's just I think a better football player right now. Adam Young, kicker decision: Sanders or Tucker.
I would. Here's the thing. I'm gonna ask Austin. I'm gonna have Austin answer this. Well, I'll answer and I'll just tell you why I want Austin to answer too. I have a little bit of bias here in that I'm playing against Sanders this week,
Mhm.
and I expect him to go off because he's going, semifinals. I'm playing against him. Only makes sense. But what do you think? I mean, Sanders, number one kicker in the league. They are going against New England, and New England does have a tendency to shut offenses down, or Bill Belichick does against rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So there is that you're kind of playing with. Um,
They're not amazing against the kicker position. They're 16th, middle
mhm,
of the road. New England is versus kickers. But as you pointed out, this isn't really a how good are they at defending kickers? It's how well can they slow down an offense.
mhm.
And we're still talking about a rookie quarterback here. And I agree with and the Patriots, I think, let up the third fewest points to the quarterbacking position. So they are stout, they're prepared. And I'm a little bit nervous about Miami, but that also could mean a big game for Jason Sanders if Miami's not able to generate enough momentum to get in the end zone and they end up just kicking 5 field goals instead.
Yeah, that's. I
So,
mean,
but
I mean, I will say too, Justin Tucker is against Jacksonville that they also do give up one of the top, kicker, points to kickers if that is an actual metric that you can
I,
accurately predict. I
yeah,
I think I would go Justin Tucker on this
I
one.
would go Justin Tucker too on this one. There's less question marks. Justin Tucker is historically one of the best kickers of all time. There's no reason to believe he's slowing down. They're going up against Jacksonville, who lets up the 26th most points to kickers. Um, I'd go Justin Tucker.
Yeah, definitely. Like the
So
answer
we got
there.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for the question here, Adam. Good to have you with us, as well as everybody here in Whisper Nation. We'd love to answer all the line of questions. Hit them with us. And at the same time, do us a favor and hit that thumbs up button to help us grow this specific episode, reach more folks out there to keep this good time rolling forward. The Cat's Pajamas, what's good, man? It's always good to have you in the
Always good to
chat.
cast pajamas.
PPR question Gabe Davis or Tim Patrick? Or wait for Hollywood Brown?
I would wait for Hollywood Brown. I don't like I don't like Patrick's matchup this week. Gabe has a decent matchup, but PPR, I don't think he's going to get a lot of targets. Hollywood
Mhm.
Brown, they are saying he's going to come off the COVID list before the game, and is expected to play. So with them being against Jacksonville, I would probably roll with Hollywood Brown. But if you don't feel comfortable in that, I always want to preface this: if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you don't want to wait and say, wait for the news,
Yeah.
because Gabe Davis plays on Saturday. I
Yeah.
do think that Gabriel Davis has a solid floor. I have to look exactly at his stats, but I believe he's scored in like 3 or 4 straight or something, or 3 out of 4 games. He scored a touchdown. So, and I don't believe John Brown is supposed to be back in this game.
No, he's
Uh,
John Brown is supposed to come back.
he
John
is
Brown is
supposed to.
well. Shoot. Actually, you know what? I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me check. He might not be back. He's active right now, but John Brown returned to practice midweek, but will not be able to turn it around. No, he won't. So John
Okay.
Brown's out.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I would say if you can stomach, a little bit more of a gamble, and going with Hollywood Brown, I would prefer that. But if you're, I would understand if you're like, hey, I just need guys. I would rather have points in there than risking it. I do think Gabriel Davis is a decent play this week.
And you know what? I just want to say on Marquise Brown, it might just be coming from a narrative perspective, but watching that amazing game against the Browns last week, yeah, the whole narrative for Hollywood Brown was the drops. It was
Yeah,
horrendous.
yeah.
And then that narrative changed pretty quickly after that impressive touchdown there. And it just we know we've been looking to see Hollywood Brown get on track all season long. And it's such a momentum building, maybe season altering play and game. It might click in a little bit. He is still that top option behind Mark Andrews.
Mhm.
And just quickly here on the Baltimore Ravens, in addition to Marquise Brown, Jim Harbaugh also expects Miles Boykins and James Prochet to come off that reserve COVID list in time to play Week 15 versus the Jaguars. So keep tuned into that, but looking good for those options. We've got Terrell Too Nice asking about Drew Brees or Mitch Trubisky. I think going. I love the upside play with Trubisky.
I do, and he's been good lately. I am hearing that they don't expect Breeze to, be dropping back every single pass. Obviously, he's dealing with still the rib thing, so I could see them running a little bit more, but
Yeah,
and limiting the upside of Breeze. I mean, Breeze wasn't
come on.
terrific. Breeze wasn't that terrific before he went down anyway, so I do think there is more upside with Trubisky. And yeah, there is a way lower floor with Trubisky as well, but I don't know if the ceiling's as high.
And as long as you're playing in the real tournament and not the consolation toilet bowl, you're probably playing up against a good team week
Mhm.
15, which means you probably need to stretch for the ceiling. I don't know what your exact dynamic is, Terrell Too Nice, but Trubisky would be my start, and I'm fully aware of the risk that's goes along with any Chicago quarterback, Trubisky especially. We've got Tigore Indukuri. Thanks for joining us, man. I would love to answer your question or pick one. Big Ben, Mitch Trubisky, Jalen Hurts. I think he's talking about
I think I would go Big Ben here. I think Jalen Hurts.
against Cincinnati.
Yeah, I just think that once again you're dealing with a very solid floor with Big Ben. I do think that there is upside because we saw it. Last time they played Cincinnati, Big Ben had his best game of the year. So there is certainly that upside in this matchup. I think with Jalen Hurts, listen, he should have a very good game. He has the rushing upside. Um, I don't know if they have the ability if they were to get into a shootout, let's say the Cardinals, because I do think the Cardinals will be able to put up points in this game.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know what the level of Jalen Hurts' capability is to be throwing from behind against a defense that is what they're built to do, is like take advantage of people who are trying to come back.
Yeah. The one thing with Jalen Hurts is, and the Cardinals defense is, the Cards defense gives up the fifth most rushing yards to the quarterback position, and Jalen Hurts dropped over 100 rushing yards in his first real start. So we know he wants to run.
Yeah,
We know it is a fallback safety blanket for mobile quarterbacks coming in who really don't know how to read NFL defenses just yet.
yeah.
And so it could be bad from a football perspective, but I'm not surprised to see Jalen Hurts break 100 yards on the ground again. But we're just spending time talking about Jalen Hurts because it's a fun option right now. But I think you're right. Big Ben is the start. and Trubisky's the upside play. And Jalen Hurts to me is just a little too cute. Like if you have the
Yeah.
options on the other ones, it's
Yeah, I just don't know what is the ups like as good. I mean, I'll agree. Jalen Hurts had a great game last week, but like he still only put up 21.2 fantasy points, and it's
with a
like
100 yards rushing.
right. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I feel you on that one. Adam Young asks, how do you guys feel with Robbie Anderson matchup this week against Jair Alexander? Still a start. Yeah, man, I'm feeling good about this one. And let me just take a stab at why. We've got, Jair Alexander, shutdown corner right now, who is averaging a phenomenal 0.68 yards per route run to whatever wide receiver he's defending. And for those of you aware of a color scale where green is really good and a lot, and red is really hard and bad, this is pretty darn red. It's not blood red. It's got a little orange in it, but it's still on the very, very tough side, meaning Jair Alexander is a pure shutdown corner. He is amazing. But he spends 70% of his time over on the left side of the field, no time in the slot, and roughly 21% of his time over there on the right side. So he's a pretty dominant left side of the field cornerback. And Robbie Anderson is an even 1/3 all over the field. They move their wide receivers around a lot. That's true for DJ Moore as well. Curtis Samuel's the only one who dominates the slot. That's really where he hangs out. So I don't think Robbie Anderson's going to get blanketed by Jair Alexander, and the rest of the holes in the defense are pretty good from a wide receiver perspective. So I would still fire up Robbie Anderson this week if your main concern was Jair Alexander. Am I missing anything there, Johnny?
oh, I thought that was a great breakdown.
Yeah, thank you. So Terrell Too Nice also asked about J.K. Dobbins or Clyde Edwards-Helaire PPR.
Ooh.
CEH, we know, is going up against the number one rush defense in the Saints. J.K. Dobbins has been on the up and up, but he is splitting some time still with Cross Edwards, who is the goal line back. Who would you be starting, Johnny, here?
This is I think I would still roll with CEH here, simply because it's a PPR league, and I do expect CEH to be involved in the passing game and a lot of checkdowns. I think that's how they're going to help move the chains in this game. Whereas, like, I don't know if they're going to be able to run that much. He'll get opportunities for sure, but I don't know how effective it'll be. Where you look at J.K. Dobbins, this was kind of interesting. We all know that he's a good receiving back. However, last 3 games, 0 targets at all. And then even before that, Austin, I mean, 4 straight games of high of 2 targets. So
Yeah.
with the PPR, listen, I understand Jacksonville, great matchup. I love that matchup. But if I'm choosing in a PPR between CH and Dobbins, give me CH.
CEH last week had what, 5 or 6 targets? I think he caught 5 yards, had a
Yeah.
good chunk moving ahead, and Le'Veon Bell is meant to be a spell. He's given no reason to be more than a spell. And I would agree with you on this one, but it's good. It's a good option here.
Yeah,
Dobbins
definitely.
is Dobbins is that top role, and it's nice to see the coaching staff finally put their best players forward.
Yep.
Uh, hey, Whisper Nation, we got 12 of you joining with us. That's awesome. We'd love to have you here. We've got just 5 thumbs ups though. So if you could do us a huge favor, and I legitimately mean this, hit that thumbs up. Allow us to jump the algorithm and to jump into more of the feeds of different fantasy football fans out there. We would love to keep this conversation going on this Friday afternoon, and keep sharing your questions with us, man. That's what we legitimately just love to do more than anything else in the world. So JML Sports says, yo, what's going on, JML Sports?
What's up,
Uh,
buddy?
what is up, buddy? Adam Young's asking about a tight end question. Kmet, Jay Cook, or Eric Ebron?
I'm,
Kmet is with Chicago. Jared Cook with the Saints, or Eric Ebron with Pittsburgh.
I'm gonna go Eric Ebron
Me too.
with this. Eric Ebron, I understand he had a bad match or bad game last week, but prior to that, he was seeing all his games were 5+ targets. Was getting into the eight target games, which for a tight end is massive. I think against Cincinnati, Cincinnati top 3 against the tight end, or sorry, top 3 points giving up to the tight end. So. I really love the matchup for Eric Ebron this week.
I think Cole Kmet's going to be a player moving forward.
Yeah, I
Jimmy
do.
Graham, that touchdown dependent clunker that's still ahead of him, is just getting in the way. But I think Kmet's going to be a name to keep an eye on next season and definitely the year after that.
Yep.
Stephen P, I have to play Jalen Hurts because everyone in the playoffs seems to be trying to block me. Fun league. 2 different people picked up Breeze and Big Ben, even though one already had Wilson and the other has Herbert. and Allen. Yeah,
Yep,
that's definitely
that's
what they're
definitely
doing.
a block. Yep. Hey, and that is
Yeah.
an underrated part of fantasy football. It definitely needs to be talked about more. I did a couple of quarterback blocking this week as well. Hey, you got to do whatever you can to win, and sometimes you don't have the best players. So in order to win, you have to keep other players from other teams, and sometimes it works out for you.
Yeah. Oh, so sometimes it does. Hopefully that works out for you as well.
I mean, but Jalen Hurts not a bad play. I mean, if that's
No.
ultimately who you have to roll with, then you could do a lot worse. I could tell you that.
Yeah, a guy who got you 106 yards on the
Yeah,
ground last week from the quarterbacking position, going up against the Arizona Cardinals, who gave up the fifth most amount of points to rushing quarterbers.
yeah,
So fifth
yeah.
most amount of
Hey,
yards to rushing quarterbacks, excuse
hey,
me. So it's a good matchup there.
you could have it worse. You could have told a couple of people to start Derek Carr last night, and Tim got you 1.5 fantasy points, and yeah, I'm very sorry for that, Whisper Nation. If you're watching, and I advised you on that, I'm sorry. That
I
was
took
horrible.
that advice.
I'm sorry.
It sucked.
Dude, I mean, you can never predict an injury.
No,
That's
I
the
know, man.
one thing
It is what it
that
is.
sucks. But it honestly feels so like I feel so terrible because it could cost them their championship. It's like
You don't feel I don't even feel bad about it though, man. And you look at how that game progressed, and Derek Carr would have probably been just a fine play
I know
that was
that's
in there.
yeah that's the other thing is like he
So
was on his way.
sometimes you get a flat tire driving to the store. It just happens. Right. Stephen P. We answered that question. Tagore into Curry needs to replace Julio Jones, Johnny. Russell Gage, Gabriel Davis, or Emmanuel Sanders.
I'm gonna go Emmanuel Sanders here on those. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's a PPR league, but I either way PPR standard. I think I'm gonna go Emmanuel Sanders here. Russell Gage. We kind of joked about this on the matchup show, and I was one Philly Chelsea. I was joking with her. I believe Russell Gage is a trap this week. I think
Mm.
that his matchup, people have seen what he's done without Julio last couple weeks. He's seen uptick in targets, but difficult matchup this week. I think he's a little bit of a trap. And yeah,
We've got a question here following up. Clayton Witt. Hey guys, good insight on Robbie Anderson. Appreciate that shout out. Thanks, Clayton. Is Raheem Mostert or Cole Beasley over him in PPR? It's
I would.
I like
I
Raheem Mostert
we.
does not have an injury designation going into Sunday's game.
Oh, he
He had
doesn't. It's completely removed.
3 hours ago via RotoWire,
Oh,
Mostert ankle doesn't have an injury designation for Sunday's game in Dallas. Can't Inman of the San Jose Mercury News reports.
I'm probably going
He went in a,
Mostert.
I would too, man. We called it a carousel over there in San Francisco, but when he's played, he almost always has double-digit carries that he takes for over 4 yards a carry. Um, he is their best running back. He's also involved in the pass game, not to a tremendous degree, but I like him. Cole Beasley's definitely got some upside. The man's on pace for over 1,000 yards this
Yeah,
season.
it's
It's pretty
pretty.
awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty awesome.
John Brown is still out. Cole Beasley gets a bump. I like that, but I'm still gonna. I really like the floor of Raheem Mostert.
Yeah.
And going up against Dallas this week, I
Oh, that's just a
that's pretty
juicy,
juicy.
juicy matchup.
Yeah. Stephen P. Waller got him 25. He's feeling good. Good for you, man. He had Taysom in, but that 25 is making him feel good.
Against down 25 again. I was against Waller in the Dynasty League. Yeah, for Chris. Chris has Waller.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
You played Chris?
yeah.
Damn.
But it is. I don't know. I think I could still come back. I got a lot of firepower for him.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I'll see you in the championship then.
Yeah. Hopefully, I
J.
want to play you.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
JML Sports really feel like Fournette is going to have a good game, but I don't want to bench Sanders or Akers. I know, me too. I have Woods, Metcalf for wide receiver 1 and 2, but my flex options are Fournette, Deontay Johnson, and Jarvis Landry.
I
If those are your flex options, I like Fournette personally.
Yeah, I would go. Listen, I know what we've been saying about Deontay Johnson, and we like him, but there is that downside of the drops and all of that, and so you can cut that out and just go with Fournette. I agree. I think Fournette is in a very nice spot here, and I would be playing him, and I am playing him wherever I do have him, and so yeah, Fournette would be that flex option for me. Got the safest floor to me. He has the ability to get a couple touchdowns in this game. He'll see the goal line work. So
Yeah. So these are great questions. Whisper Nation, keep hitting us with those questions. Keep hitting that thumbs up button. Well, don't hit it multiple times because then I think it might take it away. But just make sure you
Yeah.
got it illuminated. So please do that. Allow us to keep growing the channel. We love to do this so much with y'all. So do us that favor and we will be greatly appreciated. But I want to burn through some of these updates, Johnny, on the news and nuggets from around the league. We touched here on the Bills wide receiver John Brown. He's off the IR, but he's not going to play this week. Cole Beasley's getting a nice little bump from that. Johnny, Curtis Samuel, hamstring, was added to the Panthers injury report on Thursday, making him questionable. But rather strangely, the change generated very little comment among the Panthers press corps, suggesting it might be very minor. They've got some bang ups happening, right? Curtis Samuel, minor or not, we had a hamstring pop up. DJ Moore, who was on the IR, who's not on the IR now, is expected to play. How are you kind of making sense right now of these wide receiver options in Carolina?
I mean, you did have a nice breakdown of Robbie Anderson earlier. I talked about it's not the greatest matchup for DJ Moore.
Yeah,
Um, but like we said, I do think that they're going to need to score in this game to keep up with Green Bay.
yeah.
And we know that if anyone can take a limited sample size of targets and opportunities and turn it into a heyday of making your fantasy day, that's DJ Moore. And this guy's continued to blow up in limited opportunity. I mean, look at against New Orleans. Excuse me, against New Orleans, he had 5 targets, yet he had 93 yards. Week 4 against Atlanta, 5 targets, 93 yards, and a touchdown. And he had 2 touchdowns, excuse me, against New Orleans on that
He's
week.
such a
So
great deep field option.
yeah,
It's Teddy Bridgewater's trepidation
yeah.
of going deep. He's actually a pretty accurate deep
I
passer.
know it's
He
frustrating. He's like
he's just
very accurate.
I don't know if it's like cold cojones or what's going on, but he just does not let it ride. I think the Carolina Panthers and every fantasy manager would be a lot more grateful to him if he did. But we'll
Yeah.
hopefully that'll come around. But last point on the Carolina Panthers here: star running back Christian McCaffrey, his thighs considered doubtful for Week 15. How, to be expected this year.
Hmm.
Fire up Mike Davis with confidence.
Yeah, you're going to continue to roll with him. He had some down weeks, but it looked to be more of kind of a matchup kind of thing. If anything, yeah, he's been nice for you.
We've got a question here from Adam Young asking about if we heard anything good about Kittle. I heard that he came off the IR, but he's not going to be playing
Yeah,
this week.
he's not playing this or expected. He's not expected to play this week. But yeah, if you got him, maybe next week, if you make it to the championship game and he's got it, then yeah, you're. I tried to. He was dropped in one of my leagues that I have potential to make the championship in, and I tried. I put in a waiver claim for him just to. I mean, I have Mark Andrews in that league, but Kittle's an upgrade to Mark Andrews. So, yeah, if he plays next week, there's a chance. Then I would maybe throw him in your lineup, but no new news as of right now, right, Austin?
Yeah, Kittle to me, if he is active now, but they hold him out week 16, even though that's the championship game and you haven't seen him play since week 8, I'd feel very good about Kittle's role coming in that game. When he had that week 1 injury after going down, he was out for 2 weeks. And after that second week of rest, he said, "Let it roll, baby. I'm ready to go." Kittle loves football like more than I've seen any other football player in the NFL love football.
Mhm.
And he came back on that game, caught all 15 targets for 183 yards and a touchdown. I'm not
Yeah,
guaranteeing that kind of production. I'm just saying the man loves to play football. He wants to be out there, and they're not going to put him out there unless he is ready to handle the load. So if he's in, like I would start George Kittle.
yeah, yep.
We've got questions here still. Inceptivus one wants to know who we'd bench between Robert Woods, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Ayuk, or T.Y. Hilton.
Um, I would probably bench T.Y. Hilton in this case. I don't know. T.Y. Hilton's having a good,
Been balling, dude.
and he's got a good matchup. Probably Deontay. I mean, he's got a great matchup too. But you could be concerned about. Here's a real. I am a little concerned that T.Y. Hilton. That this could be more of a Michael Pittman game.
Mm.
But again,
I would
I'm definitely starting Robert Woods and Ayuk. So
Ayuk against Dallas is super juicy. Robert Woods has looked great. Keep an eye on the health too. There's been a couple of murmurings about health that might make your decision easier. Um, Deontay Johnson, the drops have been there. The targets have come down a little bit. There's a lot of other good receiving options that they have. I've been on Deontay Johnson so hard after his 10 plus targets for the last 6 weeks, but and it's Cincinnati. This is a tough one here. Let me see T.Y. Hilton here. I gotta look into this one a little bit more for me. I don't want to spend. This is a really good question here. T.Y. Hilton's been such a boss, like 80
Mm.
plus yards the last 3 weeks, 5+ targets, but it's still been really touchdown based for T.Y. Hilton. Like he's got 4 touchdowns in the last
Touchdowns,
3
y'all.
weeks.
Touchdown, y'all. Hilton. That's in his name.
But they got a great matchup also against Houston.
I know, which he
I
blew
would.
up 2 weeks ago.
I just think Deontay Johnson is the most replaceable on his team, which is a really sad, hard thing to say right there. But nobody does what Robert Woods does. Nobody does what Ayuk does. Nobody really does what T.Y. Hilton does. I think between Juju Smith-Schuster and Chase Claypool, you can kind of get it done.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to put Ty above Deontay yet. I just think that. But I mean, I honestly I don't think you could go wrong with this. I don't. I
No,
think that
there's no.
even
There's
if you go T.Y. Hilton, that's fine. You can go T.Y. Hilton. I think it's fine. I think it's the same play, right? The same
Yeah.
player, like high upside. Would you be surprised if T.Y. Hilton had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns? No. Would you be surprised if Deontay Johnson had 2 touchdowns and 100 yards against Cincinnati? No, because it's what he had. What
the last thing I want to say on Ayuk, because I was going to be like, well, it's the rookie, and a rookie's floor is subterranean. And I'm looking at Brandon Ayuk's last set of active games: 16 targets, 9 targets, 14 targets, 10 targets. And then you look at the yardage going backwards: 119 yards, 95 yards, 75 yards, 91 yards, 115 yards.
Yeah, he's a beast,
it's like,
dude.
He's a beast. He's electric. He's that top option. Like, you can't. Like, I don't know why you would. And against Dallas, like, F that, man. That's fun.
Yeah.
Adam Young wants to know, do you guys hear anything good? Oh, yeah, we touched on that one. Stephen P. Yeah, Teddy doesn't even look DJ's way a lot of snaps, and he gets open a good amount. Yes, he sure does.
Yeah, he does.
See DJ Moore getting a little frustrated. DJ Moore was like a fringe wide receiver 1 before going down, and he should have been like a top 5 option as far as I'm concerned.
100%.
JML Sports asks, Hawkinson or K-Met?
Talking
Hawkinson from Detroit, K-Met with Chicago.
Here's you have to keep this monitored because there is a slight chance that Matthew Stafford plays in this game still.
Dude's so tough.
I know, he's insanely tough. He is traveling with the team. He's going to warm up before the game, and he'll make a decision there. So you have to keep this monitored because if Matthew Stafford plays, I'm playing Hawkinson. If Matthew Stafford isn't playing, then I'm going to go Komet here.
I'm still sticking on Hawkinson. I just love the talent and the role that he's got there.
He's going to be a bright star at the tight end position in the next couple of years.
JML Sports, he went off last time versus Cincy. Yeah. Speaking of Cincinnati, Bengals quarterback Brandon Allen was sidelined at Friday's practice, Johnny. This is back-to-back absences now. I know, ahead of a Monday night game. It's looking more and more likely that Ryan Finley, who is their third-string quarterback, will have to start under center in place of Allen, who's starting in place of Joe Burrow.
Fire up the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, baby.
Yeah, if it wasn't juicy enough already, right?
Right.
Are you feeling good about any pass catchers here in Cincinnati? T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd?
I lost my confidence in their abilities as soon as Joe Burrow went down. And I mean, Tyler Boyd he's been doing some work with limited quarterback play there, and because he plays in the slot, maybe you could still roll him out as a flex if you wanted. But I feel like you have better options, like T.Y. Hilton.
Gotta have.
Like I would much rather play T.Y. Hilton than Tyler Boyd.
I would too. What would you do, Whisper Nation? And if you are in the chat, ask us your questions. We're going to be getting through every single one of these here. I'm happy to do it. If you haven't also hit the thumbs up, please go ahead and do us a favor. Hit that thumbs up button. It allows us to grow our channel in this specific show as well. We've got some more questions coming in here. Who do I sit? Asks Raha Gonzalez. Full point PPR. Nick Chubb, Calvin Ridley, Allen Robinson, or A.J. Brown? Who do I sit? Great team.
I would.
I love Ridley.
Here's
With
the thing.
Julio.
This is going to be a dangerous answer, but follow me on the logic. All right, and tell me if you disagree, Austin.
Mhm.
AJ Brown out of all these guys is the one I like. All the matchups. The matchups don't bother me. AJ Brown is the one that is dealing with the ankle injury.
Mhm.
And so that would be what would separate me because, it looked to me like it was a pretty bad ankle injury, and then he played. And then last week, he made one catch, came on a comeback catch, and then went down, was grabbed for his ankle. He ended up playing through it. But to me, if I can avoid starting an injured wide receiver, if I have the depth behind it in a game that I know I have to win, I would rather go that way. Like, I think you're completely fine with Ridley and Allen Robinson and I'm definitely playing Chubb.
I agree with you. Great breakdown, Johnny. Inceptivus is worried because Woods because I feel like the Rams will run the ball with Akers and run down the clock. That really could happen. They're playing the Jets, right? Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
real concern. They could get up
but they
early.
have to get up early, or they have to get up, and in order to do that, well, how do you do that? Well, I don't think Cam Akers is going to have 3 touchdowns. Well, he could, but I
Yeah.
expect Woods and Cup to get a couple of those touchdowns to get them there. And yeah, sure, you could see a lot more runs in the second half or in the fourth quarter, but by that time, they're going to have their points.
Right. I agree with that take there, Johnny. Joe Strong wants to know between Kareem Hunt or Jeff Wilson.
Well, because of the news that Austin went over, I would go with Mostert is expected to play. I would go Kareem Hunt, and
Yeah.
even still, I would have went Kareem Hunt. He's
Yeah.
been killing it.
Stephen P, half point PPR. He's got Hurts, A-Rob, Ayuk, Kamara, Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Waller, Blankenship. He has Watson, Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson. Okay, we got the lineup. Am I going to the championship next week? Okay. So let's see here. He's got Hurts, Jalen Hurts at the wide receivers. He's got
Hurts
A-Rob,
versus
Ayuk.
okay, we'll just go like this. Sorry, Austin, not to.
Yeah, do
We
it, do
could
it, do
do
it.
Hurts versus Watson. Who you got? I got Watson over Hurts.
I got Watson.
Even though it is a difficult matchup, but we'll still take Watson. Okay. Then we can go Brandon Ayuk.
A-Rob and Ayuk.
Yeah, A-Rob and Ayuk versus Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson. I'm gonna go Devontae
Taking
Adams.
the ladder.
Yeah, I'm going the ladder. Chubb, Jonathan Taylor versus
And Kamara.
versus Dalvin Cook, Hunt, and who is the flex on the other side? I don't.
Must have Mark Andrews. Or
There's
because he's got 2.
yeah
He didn't tell us his flex, but
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook or Kareem Hunt, Kamara and Chubb. 2 tough running backs, but I'm taking your Stephen P.
Yeah.
I take Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, whatever combo there over Dalvin Cook and Kareem Hunt.
I mean, the fact that you have Waller already putting up 25, that's good. Mark Andrews,
nice.
he could have a good game. I don't expect him to put up 25.
Right.
I would definitely be beyond excited if he does. Let's see, and then Lutz versus Blankenship. Travis would kill us if we didn't say Blankenship over Lutz this week. And then Cleveland versus Miami. I think that both of those defenses are in line for a good day. I think it's going to be a very, very close matchup.
A DeAndre Swift flex for him.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, DeAndre Swift flex. I think DeAndre Swift's gonna have a mega day this week. Maybe a tough day. Maybe
you've got a shot.
You've got a shot. You've definitely got a. It's a coin flip.
I'm taking your opponent's roster over yours, but you have a shot.
Yeah.
I would never lie to you.
Hey,
Stephen
but hey, that's why we play the game. That's why we play every single
game. That's why we do.
Yeah.
Cats Pajamas says, thank you. You are welcome, Cats Pajamas. Thanks for subscribing to the show. Thank you, Cats Pajamas, for hitting that thumbs up. I know that you already did it. Whisper Nation, if you have not yet hit that thumbs up, go ahead and do us a favor and just hit that subscribe and thumbs up button. Brian McCown, Big Blue asks Matt Ryan, or Mitch Trubisky. Matt Ryan doesn't have Julio.
Yeah, I'm going Mitch. Give me Mitch.
Yeah. Rafa Gonzalez, Ryan doesn't have Julio. Yes, correct. So even I don't like it, I would go with Trubisky. We agree. So jumping here into some of the news and nuggets, Ezekiel Elliott with the Dallas Cowboys. He's questionable week 15 against the 49ers. He is expected to play, but we saw Pollard's getting a lot more touches and a lot more involvement. Would you fade Ezekiel Elliott if you could, Johnny?
Yeah, if I can not start Ezekiel Elliott, I would. If I was able to pick up a Cam Akers, a DeAndre Swift, who else? Who else could you have picked up? Mike Davis. Like I'm
Yeah.
starting all those guys over Ezekiel Elliott this week if I can. He's
How's it
only
going?
scored 2 touchdowns all year, and he's going up against a defense that has only allowed 6 touchdowns on the ground. Not a good
So
combo.
after Dak Prescott went down. Definitely.
Yeah,
On that one.
yeah.
Yeah. So we've got Noah Fant, tight end for Denver, has been removed from the injury report. He had an illness. We know he's been dealing with a ankle injury. Really seemed to hamper his upside, but he's in. Is he anything more to you than a touchdown dependent play right now?
Yeah, unfortunately, with just too inconsistent.
Right. I agree here. Matt Stafford with the Detroit Lions. He's questionable now, which is a bit of an upgrade against the Titans. He was not expected to play at all. Did get in limited reps here to close out the week. He's going to travel to Tennessee with a questionable tag. Going to see how it goes in pregame warmups. Would you start Stafford this week? No, I wouldn't start him
I
either. And how
wouldn't.
about the
No,
options?
I would. Yeah, I would start other option. I would be very concerned with the he gets hit with one play and he's out kind of thing. I will say from like a fantasy perspective of like having people in this game, I really hope Stafford plays. But for the dude's sake and for like his livelihood, like and his health in the future, I hope he doesn't play in this game. Like, oh my gosh, this guy is the ultimate warrior. It's insane. You muted yourself.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. That's the line of the year. You're on mute.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Here in Houston now, moving over to the Texans side where Brandon Cooks will play. He's had a neck issue leading up to it, but he's going to be active. That's going to make him the lead dog in that wide receiver core. Are you firing Brandon Cooks up this week, Johnny?
I think he's a wide receiver 3 flex play. He's going to be the number 1 for Deshaun Watson. It is a difficult matchup, but I do think ultimately I think he'll get enough volume to be start worthy. Got that
Yeah.
upside as well.
Staying here in Houston, David Johnson expects to be fully in this week against the Colts. You also have Duke Johnson, who's been added to the injury report, banged up, even if he is active. Uh, David Johnson, good start this week.
I think he's an RB2, low end RB2 this week, and he has RB higher upside, RB2 higher upside, because he can always fall into the end zone. I do think that they'll use him, barring the fact that Brandon Cooks is a little banged up. You got Kiki Cutie, that whole wide receiver core is a little banged up right now, and so I do think that even Duke Johnson is a little banged up. So I think David Johnson could see a little bit more targets out of the backfield, and so that makes him a little bit more valuable.
Well said, Johnny. Joe Strong, Whisper Nation chat thread asks, well, thanks for the answer. You're welcome. He's got to sit one. Amari Cooper, DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson, or Tyler Lockett. He's afraid to bail on Lockett, but he hasn't done anything in a long time. Johnny, I want to give Joe Strong here a little bit of the breakdown I saw looking over Seattle here. And that was, we've seen the tale of two Russell Wilsons, right? And the tale of two Seattle offenses, basically. And during the week 1 through 9 stretch, Russell Wilson was the quarterback number 3. Since then, he's been the quarterback number 17 if you go to weeks 10 through 14. During that stretch, weeks 1 through 9, where he was a top 3 quarterback, DK Metcalf was the wide receiver number 2, and Tyler Lockett was the wide receiver number 5. Since those 5-game runs here where Russell Wilson's gone from the number 3 quarterback, and then during that 5-game stretch, the number 17 quarterback, DK Metcalf slipped, but he just went from number 2 to number 11. So from a top wide receiver option to a back end wide receiver 1, as where Tyler Lockett went from wide receiver 5 to the wide receiver 31.
Wild.
This has gone to a wide receiver 3 level. I agree with you, Stephen P., in that he's afraid to bail on Lockett, but he hasn't done anything in a long time. And if Russell's not cooking all by himself anymore and they've really shifted it up, the upside to Tyler Lockett comes down. And you don't need to be evaluating him on a world beater level like he was the first 9 weeks through the season.
Hmm.
I would probably lean towards Tyler Lockett on this, or DJ Moore just because he's banged up. What about you?
I don't think I can. I learned my lesson the hard way on not starting DJ Moore earlier in the season. So
Mhm.
for me, it's hard. Listen, Washington is a difficult matchup. The corners are actually pretty good. Um, I think I would sit Tyler Lockett. And here's the thing, like Tyler Lockett is this is kind of what Tyler Lockett is, right? Like he has these mega you can go back in his history and he has like these games where he has like 40-point games. Like he's done
Yeah.
this a couple times in the past. And he will have like these boomer, 2 or 3 touchdown games sprinkled in there, which elevates his entire ceiling of people saying, yeah, he's overall the wide receiver 14. I should be starting him, even though half the time he gets less than 8 fantasy points. Um, to me, I would sit Lockett and know that yeah, if he has a mega day, I'm going with the odds and the matchups and saying that I don't think based on the matchups Tyler Lockett has a day against Washington. If I'm wrong, it's
I'm sure we'll hear about it.
yeah, I would expect to hear about it,
I think
but
that's a good take on it, though. When looking from the outside before it's actually happened. Speaking of another wide receiver who's been a little up and down, Devontae Parker, wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins, is questionable week 15. Sounds like he and both Mike Gesicki, dealing with a shoulder issue, are trending towards playing after limited practice. Would you start him at Tua behind center going up against the Pats?
the Pats are really good against the tight end, so I
Yeah,
don't know, and I know that um, Gesicki has been a really good weapon for
yeah.
him and Tua. So I don't think I would start Gesicki. I don't know how he's going to play in this game. That injury looked brutal. I thought for sure he was like done for the season. I when I saw the injury live or like when they showed it on Red Zone, I was like, wow, that dude's arm is shattered. Like it's amazing that he's able to come back. And then Parker, I would probably try to pivot elsewhere if I could. I don't know, Austin. You have Parker. He's been a little disappointing this year, but
Dude,
he's
he's been
always got
so
that.
disappointed.
Yeah,
He's got that upside. He just hasn't hit it yet. There's been so many weird things that gets in the way of Devontae Parker. It's like various injuries pop up. He gets ejected from a game. It's like we just haven't seen it all come together. I don't know if New England and a banged up Devontae Parker is going to produce. I don't think it will. His shine is down. This is the kind of thing where we talked about George Kittle when he sat for 2 weeks and he's like, I'm ready to come back. I'm looking to play football. I need that energy from Devontae Parker before I get excited
yeah,
about Devontae Parker. I just think he's a little tired
yeah,
right now.
yeah. Could be.
Yeah, Stephen P notes that Kamara's projections went up 3.5 points with the news of Drew Brees starting. That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense to me.
Yep.
Joe Strong says, appreciate the breakdown. Enjoying the show, man. Thanks for being a part of it. We really appreciate you having here, legit. Moving forward with some of these news and nuggets, Johnny. Raheem Mostert, we said he's going to play against the Cowboys. That's a start for me. Yeah, another running back here in the Washington football team where Antonio Gibson's considered doubtful dealing with that turf toe. He had some running back drills he was participating in on Friday's practice, but is not going to be able to join the team in what is a pretty critical Week 15 game against Seattle. We also know Alex Smith is going to be out. Dwayne Haskins is getting
Yep.
the start. How are you? Are you starting anybody here? The Washington football team?
Downgrading. Obviously the pass catching running back. I don't think he saw the major uptick um with Alex Smith and
Yeah.
rightfully so. Alex Smith is like one of the check down kings next to Drew Brees. So McKissick, I don't think I would start anymore. I think I would ultimately, because of the matchup against Seattle, I do think I would still roll out McLaurin and them having that rapport from college. I think I still am confident in rolling out McLaurin,
Yeah.
but that would be it.
Yeah. And remember, Dwayne Haskins and Terry McLaurin were college teammates. And Dwayne Haskins has produced for Terry McLaurin as well. But Terry McLaurin's had a bad couple of weeks.
Yeah.
There's maybe some concerns about his health, but we don't really have any solid information to say don't start him. He's got health issues going on. It's just speculation. If he doesn't perform week 15, then we really got to
Mhm.
dig the numbers and search the soul to find out what's going on. But until then, right,
Yeah.
here we are. Um, we've got a Johnny, we got the final question here
Oh,
right now. So if you got any other
oh.
questions here, Whisper Nation, let us know.
Dun-dun-dun.
But Stephen P says he played Gesicki on Waller's bye week and got 0 points. Ah, damn. That wasn't a question, but that is a sad reality that we're all living through at one
Yeah.
point or another. So
Unfortunate.
it happens. It's part of fantasy football. But we're here to talk about it. We're here to support you. We can be Fantasy Football Bad Beats Anonymous as well. We'd love to
Right.
hear about those ones. That
Exactly.
hit your, yeah. Johnny, anything else that you want to share with Whisper Nation here before we jump off and start crunching the numbers for this weekend show?
No, just I hope you guys enjoy your Friday night. Austin, appreciate you joining me on this Friday night, man. It's
Yeah.
always fun jumping on the ones and twos and chit chatting a little fantasy football on here. Appreciate Whisper Nation sticking around and hanging around. It's been fun. I always enjoy this show.
Thank you, Whisper Nation, for being a part of what we do and allowing us to grow our channel and our passion and to make our football knowledge a little bit sharper as well. Last call, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so you can get our pings of all the great content coming at you on a near daily basis. And tune in Sunday's lineup show an hour and a half before kickoff to have Johnny and Big Travie going over any last minute news and nuggets around the league, as well as answering your specific lineup questions. I'm Austin Sear. That's Johnny Game Time Hicks. We are the Fantasy Whispers. Have a great weekend, y'all. Peace.